Moving on now to hate group news. Pauline Hanson's One Nation Party, the only party worse than your Nana's Tea Party, and the Australian Christian Lobby are among 20 groups identified as Australian far-right hate and extremism groups in a new report by a global anti-hate think tank, the Global Project Against Hate and Extremism, the awkwardly acronymed GAFE, a group so against hate that it hates itself for hating hate, but accepts that it is a necessary evil, like arming every American citizen with an automatic rifle in order to finally wipe out gun violence. The group published the report, Far-Right Hate and Extremist Groups, which includes research on the major groups operating in Australia, their history and their beliefs. An extensive list which covered a number of obscure hate groups, but failed to list the Coalition, despite their long-running history of platforming anti-LGBTQI candidates, attempting to enforce antiquated church ideals, defund renewable science research immensely, provided the safe, soily base George Christensen and Craig Kelly germinated in until they were ready to spread their hateful wings and fly solo, anti-refugee, and were also anti-poor. But hey, they're merely a conduit to greater levels of hatred, a mere Pikachu of extremism compared to One Nation and Friends' Raichu of extremism, the much lesser known evolution who will never make it onto the lunchbox and family-friendly merchandise. That is what Pikachu is for. A friendly face to hatred. One Nation has the dubious honour of being the most mainstream of the listed entities because of its anti-immigrant, anti-Muslim, white nationalist and conspiracy ideology. A real conundrum of Ouroboros, where her baseless conspiracies of persecution drew the attention of the people she claimed to try and protect, who rejected their new horrible saviour and turned against her, persecuting her baseless ideas with facts and knowledge and empathy, like cowards. Also identified are many Australian groups linked to international hate groups. These include far-right Hindu nationalists allegedly attacking Sikhs in Australia, anti-trans groups spawned from UK equivalents, and Australian arms of US-based neo-Nazi groups that have since split up and, according to the authors, likely integrated into Australian hate groups. A surprisingly diverse mix of hatred for a group who all claim, like a Highlander of bigotry, perhaps once they have all eliminated their rivals, they will turn on each other and they'll have like a bracket-style system of bigotry whittling down the groups and forcing them to put their money where their monstrous opinions are, in their mouth. The report refers to One Nation's representatives' public comments going back to Pauline Hanson's comments in a Queensland Times letter about Indigenous peoples that led to her disendorsement from the Liberal Party. Yes, that was a thing. Pauline Hanson was almost a member of the Liberal Party, now before bravely branching out with her own unique brand of silly insular economic systems, impish denying of being racist while absolutely being racist, mischievous approach to anti-immigration xenophobia, her waggish prison sentence for political fraud, and her abhorrent continuous appearances on Australian television programs like Dancing with the Stars, Bert's Family Feud, and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? And like her hero and vision board centerpiece, Adolf Hitler, she's just an artist who couldn't make it and lashed out. Where Hitler was a failed painter, Hanson was a young, fresh-faced singer on New Faces in 1985, and the Australian people's reluctance to accept Australian arts has led her to hate foreigners, because if there was no foreign art, then we'd only have Australian art, and she would have to be the next Olivia Newton-John. So guys, I think the simple message here is you've got to make sure that you support local art. You can start by coming to see my shows.